What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel for another video. Before we get things started, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure you ring that bell so you're notified for your favorite team's preview video. Today we have a 2023 season preview for the Auburn Tigers. Out goes Brian Harsin, insert new head coach Hugh Freeze. Coach Freeze comes over from Liberty, where he had a ton of success and proved he's still one of the top coaches in the entire country. He showcased that especially when Liberty beat Arkansas in early November of last year. Now, Auburn as a program is a totally different task than what Coach Freeze is used to or was used to at Liberty. He has to come in and totally regenerate the energy around this program. Failing to reach the standard last year would be a bit cliche, but it's just the truth. Auburn fans and players, especially their administration as well, all expect them to be at 8 wins or more and fighting for the SEC West on probably a yearly basis, I'd say. To get back there, talent acquisition and staff building are two things at the top of the list. For starters, Philip Montgomery is an offensive coordinator. He's a very RPO heavy style coordinator, and I think that goes very well with what they have in their quarterback room. Speaking of quarterback, it looks like Robbie Ashford will be the starter, and this is a very good sign for the Tigers. Ashford is a developmental project in the passing game, but he's a top-notch athlete and runner of the football. He brings a huge dual threat element to the game that Hugh Freeze is very good at coaching with. Peyton Thorne is transferring in from Michigan State, and this really shakes up things in the quarterback room and makes things very interesting headed into fall camp. But I think we've maybe seen Thorne's ceiling. That's why I give the edge to Robbie Ashford. He may have a higher upside and fits the mold of what Hugh Freeze likes in a quarterback. TJ Finley's the third guy. He's also in the battle for QB1, but all signs point toward Ashford and Thorne, as I mentioned. At running back, you have to replace Tank Bigsby, who is one of the top backs in the entire SEC. And to fill that hole, you have Jarquez Hunter, who could end up being an all-SEC performer by season's end. He's a very good all-around back and will have a lot of production this year. And a sleeper pickup, and my pick for breakout player on this offense, is Brian Beatty. Beatty is a running back transfer from USF. He is a very dynamic playmaker. A three-down back with elite speed. Him and Ashford back there could create some problems for defenses in the run game. And then at tight end, I mentioned talent acquisition. That's the name of the game nowadays. And Hugh Freeze went out and got Rivaldo Fairweather from FIU, who is one of the top transfers at the tight end position. This is a guy who had a lot of Power 5 schools calling once he entered the portal, but ultimately he chose the Auburn Tigers. Up front on the offensive line, this is an entirely new but also very talented offensive line, and they're led by 3 4-star rated players in the transfer portal, in Avery Jones, Gunnar Britton, and Dylan Wade. All 3 of these guys will most likely be starters and instantly fit into the SEC, and overall, the offense will go as far as these guys will take them. Outside at wide receiver, there's a lot of untapped potential and talent in the room. Caleb Burton is a guy to keep an eye on. This was an absolute dude coming out of high school. Ohio State brought him in at receiver, if that says anything about his skill set. They just don't bring in any ordinary receiver up in Columbus. And him and Shane Hooks could be 2 guys from the portal that can totally rejuvenize this offense. Flipping it over to the defensive side of the ball, we have a solid unit led by Coach Ron Roberts. Up front, they had to hit the portal because the Tigers lacked depth on the offensive line. They went out and got big-time defensive tackle transfer Justin Rogers to pair alongside Jason Jones, who's also returning. Those 2 should create a very strong run defense in the interior, and that will allow a guy like Elijah McAllister to get after the passer, and he could end up being an all-SEC performer down the line. The guys up front will have to step up and really prove something this year after the huge drop-off in defensive efficiency a year ago. Demario Tolan is coming from LSU to play linebacker, and this was a much-needed get for multiple reasons. 1, the run defense needed a boost, but this is also a good coverage player. He will also step in and be a leader from day one. The secondary will be without a doubt the best part of this defense. There's a lot of guys returning, and some young guys are also expected to contribute. DJ James and Nahimi Pritchett, I apologize if I said his first name wrong, will lead the way at corner with Keontae Scott in at nickel. That trio alone will be one of the better ones in the entire conference. Then the projected safety starters are most likely Zion Puckett and Jalen Simpson. And Simpson, he led the team last year with 2 interceptions. And to end the video, let's take a quick look at Auburn's 2023 schedule and set some realistic expectations for them. So starting things out, we have UMass, California, Samford. They go on the road, play Texas A&M, and then they host Georgia before their bye week, followed by LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, New Mexico State, and then lastly, in the final week of the season, the Iron Bowl against Alabama. All right, so in a perfect world, the Tigers will start out 3-0 with wins against UMass, Cal, and Samford. I think we can all say we expect them to win those games. But then they will start conference play and have one of the toughest schedules in all of college football. The goal is to find 3 wins starting in week 4 and try to reach a bowl game. The most likely candidates for those wins are New Mexico State, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State, in my opinion. The Tigers will probably have to win 3 of those 4 to play in the postseason. Do I think they'll do it? Probably. I'm just going to say, yes, I do believe, because I think 6-6 should be the realistic expectation this year, with possibly a pleasant surprise of 7-5 if the offense clicks. Who knows? Maybe Hugh Freeze has some magic up his sleeve, and that's why 7-5 may be the right answer. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Good luck to the Tigers this year. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video.